All right, students, Assalamu alaikum. This is another lecture that I am recording for you. And in this lecture, we are going to discuss about Protestant Reformation. Just to give you a recapitulation, I'm going to revise a bit what did we cover in the last lectures. So we are mainly discussing here what was happening during 15th and 16th century and onwards in different parts of the world. So here we are going to specifically speak about what was going on in Germany and how one of the German theologists brought a very big change in the religious beliefs of the people there. And not only there, later this effect was brought on broader perspective. So we're going to listen to this story. So basically, when we speak about Protestant, a word protest means that people standing against anything or being a rebel. So here, let me read the points first. The first point says Martin Luther was a German theologist. He propagated ideas on Protestantism. Divine rights of king was followed before this time. This led to proposition of New Testaments of Bible. Now there are many sects or groups in Christianity. There were only Catholics before this time. Earlier, only priests were allowed to read Bible and instruct the common people. Luther argued that priests can also be sinners like any ordinary person. So, just to give you a kind of revision, I would say that I told you that before this time, what was happening, there was divine rights of king. The rule was followed throughout the Western world, where it was a firm belief that monarchs or the kings or all the people who are ruling upon the people are actually elected by God, and they have all the right to rule the people in any way they want. Plus, this firm belief, this is just not a single belief. If you look at it with the with a little depth, you will be able to understand that what kind of society would it have been, since the king had all the rule and monarchs were believed to be appointed by God. Now this simplifies. Let me give you an example. If you start taking it in another way, and if you look at our current politicians or any one of them who's ruling, if you start looking at them as appointed by God, how is it going to affect your daily life? How is it going to have an effect on your culture? How is it going to have an effect on the belief system of the people in the society? So now you may imagine that when the kings had the divine right and they were thought to be appointed by God. So what do you think, how would have they been respected, or how would have they been treated, and what kind of rights would they have been blessed at that time? So as we discussed about the other changes which were coming in the society, there was Renaissance, literary movements, printing press was um, invented. So we're going to talk about how the society was changing with the religious aspect as well. So there was this person named as Martin Luther, who was basically German, and he was a theologist. A theologist means that he had um, studied. He used to study religions. So now in theology, he came up with unique ideas where he he was kind of a Protestant, means he was a rebel. He came up with a unique idea saying that even the people who are ruling in form of churches can be sinners. Now this is a big shift in the paradigm, the belief system. You can't even imagine the extent to which the Catholics or the church people had an influence in common people's life at that time. As I described you earlier, that there was feudalism and churches were given a lot of respect and all. So now imagine the big shift if somebody stands up in the society as a rebel and says that, see, these people who belong to this church, they may also commit sins. Now this is big thing to say in a in such kind of staunch society where staunch belief system prevails. So but this led to a kind of wave. There were people who was in his sides as well, obviously, even in the parliament, or even in the, the closed people of king. They even wanted some kind of rule at their hand. So there were obviously some hidden rebels who joined Martin, and they toppled this, together they toppled this divine rights of king. Now, this is not particularly about politics and the ruling system. Obviously, this affects um, the whole humanity, or the whole belief system of the general public. And then what happened that earlier, it was only the right of the priest in the churches to read the Bible and instruct the common people. But now the book, or the Bible, or the holy book, was in the hand of common people, and they could interpret it on their own as well. So this was basically to make you understand about the changes which were coming at that time in the Western society. In the later videos, I'm going to discuss that how it affected literature, and how there was this shift from theology to humanity in literature due to all this what was happening at that time in West. All right, students, so this is the end of my lecture here. I hope you have understood. We're going to discuss whatever you have not understood in our classes further. Thank you.